Let's dive into a satisfying face-slapping story at the Qing Tang Academy awakening ceremony. The first girl touches the stone, only to awaken a weak C-rank talent. She looks devastated, and the rest of the students? Yeah, they are not impressed at all by that pathetic showing. But sitting among them is our main character, John Han, who is internally panicking about his own results. Just then, Han's girlfriend, Xiao, is called to the front to test her luck at the stone. The moment she touches it, a blinding light erupts, stealing everyone's focus from her admittedly impressive back view. When the dust clears, she has contracted an S-rank spirit, the bloodstained silver spear, known as the Immortal Fairy. The students are losing their minds because it has been so long since an S-class bonded spirit has shown up in the Qing Tang Academy. Even better, it has two rare traits. Since some guy already got an S-rank bond earlier, everyone thinks merging with Xiao will make them absolutely unstoppable. But one student shuts down the hype, reminding them that Xiao already has a boyfriend. Before they can even finish gossiping, Mei walks straight up to Han and does the unthinkable. She dumps him right then and there, claiming they are just not on the same level anymore. She shoves him aside like trash, warning him to never come near her again, leaving Han totally humiliated. Han is left speechless, but at the same time, he is not actually worried because he is no longer that desperate simp who would do absolutely anything just to stay by her side forever. It turns out Mei never actually respected Han during their entire so-called relationship. Surprisingly, Han is actually an isekai traveler, and after his crossover, everything has become completely different for him. The other students join in, hurling insults and warning Han to stay far away from Mei if he doesn't want a painful lesson. Furious, Han asks why they are acting so stupid when he could easily awaken an S-rank spirit himself. They don't waste a second mocking him, laughing that there is zero chance he will get anything that powerful. Even Mei joins the dog pile, but while they are busy laughing at him, Han is finally called to the front. Now pay attention, because this is where the trash talk stops and real power shows up. He touches the stone, but there is no reaction. His haters go wild with laughter, and Mei calls him a complete waste who can't even awaken a basic spirit, let alone an S-rank one. The crowd praises Mei for dumping a loser like him, telling her she definitely made the right call. Suddenly, a massive shockwave slams the stone. A blinding, overwhelming light follows. The aura is so intense it practically shreds their skin while they wonder what kind of god-tier spirit he is about to summon. Everyone starts making wild guesses, but they are all dead wrong. Han has just awakened a triple S spiritual contract talent, a literal divine tier awakening. Mei is immediately frozen in pure shock, unable to believe what she is seeing with her own eyes. An SSS rank contract only appears once every 100 years. She never imagined the guy she just dumped would actually hold the rarest and most powerful contract of them all. You saw those looks on their faces, right? That is the look of absolute shock because they never believed Han could be this lucky. Han now stands above everyone else, as SSS rank masters are known as the ones who rewrite the very pages of history. In fact, the last SS rank master single-handedly saved humanity from a massive insect horde, securing our survival during a war that seemed impossible to win. Apparently, humanity would have achieved total victory if that legend had not passed away way too early. Han hasn't even left the stage before girls start swarming him, shamelessly begging for him to pick them as his next spirit contract. One girl even urges Han to pick her because she has tons of cosplay outfits at home that she will wear every day just for him. But Han coldly tells them all to back off. He is not ready to make a choice yet. Han just walks away, knowing that they are only going to delay his path to true progress. Han checks his status window, revealing god-tier skills ranging from divine insight to a powerful observation trait that perfectly harmonizes with Heaven's way. Divine insight lets him see all spirit information and even restore ancient divine spirits back to their original, powerful state. His observation trait actually doubles all of his spirit contract attributes. And finally, the great harmony of Heaven's way ensures that he doesn't have any limit on the total number of spirit contracts he can make. It doesn't take long for Mei to crawl back, suggesting they reunite, since she didn't expect him to awaken such an incredible talent. Using his skill, he sees right through her. She starts offering kisses and anything else he wants. But Han rejects her without hesitation. And that's where we leave it, trust me. Watching that gold digger get rejected was worth every single second. Alright, you and I are about to see what happens when a legend chooses trash over treasure. The girls crowd around Han, urging him to pick them. Meanwhile, they mercilessly mock the Academy beauty, Xiaoi, for awakening a trash E-rank spirit. Everyone is convinced she is finished, because nobody would ever pick a failure who could not even pass the evaluation. Tears sting her eyes as she wonders why the world is so cruel just because of her rank. Frustrated and annoyed, she turns to walk away but ends up crashing straight into Han. Han catches her before she hits the ground, apologizing instantly, while she assures him it is fine. Using his insight, Han confirms her E-rank status, but he notices something very strange about it. Her talent is actually Fuiqin, one of the 10 legendary ancient divine artifacts. Han is stunned, knowing his unique divine awakening can finally unlock all of this girl's hidden, god-tier potential. Xiaoyi sees his blank expression and nervously asks him if something is wrong. Now pay attention, because Han is about to leave everyone in this room absolutely speechless by choosing her. He wants Xiaoyi as his contract, and the other girls simply cannot believe their ears. They start screaming, demanding to know why he would pick someone so useless. Before a riot can start, Principal Cheng arrives, telling Han he understands the girl's beauty is tempting. He warns Han that choosing a spirit partner is not a decision to be made recklessly. Cheng reminds him that he is humanity's future, destined to lead the war against the insect horde. Xiaoyi looks down and agrees, telling Han her low talent isn't worthy of him. Suddenly, the city guardian Zhao Hu arrives, the powerful godfather of the arrogant Mei. He stomps toward Han, accusing him of using his triple S rank to bully his poor goddaughter. Hu threatens Han, telling him to watch his step, because he can make his life a living hell that he won't escape. Mei smirks, expecting an apology and a contract, but Han just looks at her with disgust and asks if she is worthy. This infuriates Hu, but as he tries to strike Han, Cheng catches his arm. Cheng warns Hu not to be impulsive, since Han is an overwhelming talent and his rank has already been reported to the high officials. Hu backs off, secretly hoping Han stays with the useless girl so he can eventually find a way to destroy him. Without a second thought, Han declares he is sticking with Xiaoyi, and absolutely nobody can change his mind about it. Han takes Xiaoyi's hand, leading her away so they can finalize their contract together. She apologizes for causing so much trouble, but he tells her she is worth every single bit of it. As Han activates the contract, a blinding pillar of light erupts, completely overwhelming everything in its path. The awakening is a success, granting Han an ancient divine weapon that takes the form of a sword. Han is completely blown away by the sight of Fuiqin. This soul contract provides perfect attack and support compositions, meaning he basically has a skill set with no weakness. You saw that right. E ranked to triple S in seconds. Xiaoyi is absolutely stunned. She throws herself into Han's arms, crying tears of joy for her new life. Meanwhile, Mei is whining to Hu, demanding compensation for the humiliation Han caused her. Hu tells Mei she has nothing to worry about because contracting an E-rank spirit means Han has automatically ruined his own future. He promises to keep crushing Han as long as he stays in this city. Hu reveals he has already rigged the spirit assessment that is scheduled to take place the very next day. He brags about his power, claiming that in this city, he is basically a god. Mei thanks Hu for the help, and when he asks for repayment, she suggests they head to their usual spot to settle the debt. Hu agrees immediately, eager to enjoy the rewards she promised him for his help. Hours later, vicious rumors about Han begin flooding every social media platform. These reports claim he chose a trash spirit out of pure lust, and it is all part of the massive infrastructure Hu built to punish Han. Seeing the news, Mei doubles down on her fun with Hu to show him her deep appreciation for the help. This gets him even more excited. Trust me, you and I are going to want to watch Han handle the absolute cruelty coming his way during the assessment tomorrow. Alright, you and I are about to see the school's most popular couple deal with some serious cafeteria drama. The gossip is brutal, with everyone saying Han tanked his entire career by bonding with a bottom-tier spirit. Mei overhears every nasty word and tries to apologize, but Han won't let her take the blame for it. He gives her a gentle head pat, telling her she's the most beautiful girl around and needs to stay confident. He tells her to eat up so she stays strong. Soon, it's finally time for the Spirit Contract Master's assessment. Uwa hears this and urges Han to just ignore the haters so they can show everyone their real power. They're enjoying their meal when a total brat named Wang Lumao shows up just to ruin the good vibes. Han gives him a disgusted look and asks who he even is. Lumao proudly claims he's Mei's new contractor. Han literally spits out his food in disbelief, while Uwa almost passes out from laughing way too hard. Lumao screams like a troll, demanding to know what's so funny. Han just says he thought of a joke. Mei steps in, pulling Lumao away and calling Han a piece of trash who basically threw his life away. Stick with me, the test is starting. She tells Lumao they should go, while Lumao threatens Han to wait and see what's coming for him. A bit later, they arrive at the arena, where the host welcomes everyone to the high-stakes assessment exercise. He explains the different difficulty stages, noting that even passing just one level is considered a major success. To kick things off, Mei and Lumao are called up to the stage to begin their first official test. They walk up with total confidence as the doors open to reveal a level 7 black moth monster. The second it starts, Mei transforms into a spear, and Lumao grabs her to charge at the giant insect. Lumao leaps high and lunges forward, delivering a massive slash that sends the monster crashing into the dirt. He doesn't stop there. He jumps back in and pierces the insect's body with some seriously overwhelming physical strength. The other students are totally floored, seeing exactly why an S-rank talent spirit contractor is such a big deal. Meanwhile, the district heads are watching from behind the scenes. Weighing, the boss of the first district, isn't impressed. He thinks Lu Mao is actually struggling too much against the monster, which isn't a great look for an elite. Lin Jingxuan, the head of the second district, totally agrees with his partner's harsh assessment of the fight. She says Mei should have ended this instantly, but her performance seems 20% weaker than typical S-rank spirits. Lin suspects Mei lacks discipline, leading to energy leaks. The principal is also in the room, listening to everything. He clearly knows they're right, but he stays quiet while his guilty expression says more than enough. Back at the arena, the host officially congratulates Mei and Lu Mao for successfully passing their difficult combat test. They even broke the old academy record by beating a level 6 difficulty. The students are losing their minds. They immediately start mocking Han and Ua, saying they can't wait to see their inevitable, disgraceful failure on stage. Okay, you and I need to watch this part closely, because Han and Ua are finally stepping up. When the door opens, they're facing 10 black moth bugs at level 1. Han and Ua are totally shocked. Even though the bugs are low level, there are 10 of them, making this a level 10 difficulty test. The students are surprised it's so tough, but they just want to see Han suffer for his weak contract. The examiner tells Han that as a triple S rank, he must face 10 times the difficulty of anyone else. It turns out the principal rigged the test, telling the examiner to make sure Han fails the assessment completely. The examiner feels bad about the sabotage, but he just blames Han for getting on the principal's bad side. With no other choice, Han faces the swarm. Despite the numbers, he doesn't look even a little bit scared. He tells Yua to transform so they can attack. They aren't going to let this trap bring them down. She turns into a musical weapon, and he one-shots the monsters instantly. The students are left in shock. It's completely unbelievable that an E-rank spirit could wipe out monsters like they were nothing but mere flies. The people who thought they were better than Ua have no idea what to even believe at this point. The examiner is stunned, wondering who Han actually is, while the district heads stand up in absolute disbelief. You and I will see this change everything. Alright, you and I are about to see just how broken our main character really is. It took 30 seconds to clear those ants before, but Han just wiped them in one. Lin is impressed, but he's worried because the test difficulty is spiking way past the usual limit. A voice quickly cuts in, explaining that the Guardians of Deep Blue City cranked up the danger just to see what Han can actually do. Deep down, the rival is fuming that Han cleared the first test so easily, even calling him a total cockroach. Wei isn't sweating the difficulty jump at all though, saying it was just as brutal back in their day. The old master finally gives the order to keep the assessment going. He wants to find Han's true breaking point. Phase 2 kicks off, and 20 massive ants are unleashed into the arena. Just like before, Han taps into Yuawei's musical power and shreds through the monsters without breaking a sweat. Han looks at the carnage and asks for more, calling them weak. The other students are losing it, screaming about his arrogance. After seeing that display, Wei Yi immediately claims that Han belongs in his district. But Yechu from the third district isn't having it, arguing that Han would be much better off with him. He claims Han needs room to grow, unlike the first district, which is basically just a suicide squad. Wei snaps back, asking if he's really trying to steal his recruit. Ya just laughs, saying Wei's sister-in-law isn't around to protect him, so he's not intimidated. As the two keep bickering, Shenjeki, the head of the fourth district, steps in. He suggests Han join him instead, since his district focuses on the lucrative world of relic exploration. The other two heads just turn and scream at the guy to get lost. Their teacher, the old master, finally loses his temper and yells at the brats to stop. He turns to Lin and asks for his opinion. Lin suggests they push the difficulty even higher, since the current level clearly isn't even a challenge for Han. The old master agrees, and the moment the rival hears this, now watch this part closely, the examiner announces that the superiors have raised the difficulty to the absolute maximum standard. Han is officially in trouble. He's now facing 10 second-tier giant armored lizards and 10 second-tier thunderbirds all at once. The watching students are paralyzed with fear, convinced that this is way too much for any one person to handle. But Han? He's completely unbothered, telling everyone that this challenge is still way too low for his taste. Lu Mao and Mei just mock him for being cocky, waiting for him to get absolutely wrecked. Han readies his weapon and summons a group of armored knights to engage the beasts. The knights charge the lizards while the birds provide long-range fire support, pinning Han's forces down. Seeing his knights struggling, Han decides it's time to take matters into his own hands. He plays a high-speed breakthrough song and launches himself at the birds, shattering their defenses in one go. The crowd is stunned because it's unheard of for a first-tier spirit user to drop a swarm of second-tier beasts like they're absolutely nothing. They're still processing the shock when Han lets out another strike, completely wiping the rest of them out. Let's pause here, because we're looking at a student who's actually more terrifying than the monsters themselves. Absolutely wild, right? Everyone's asking how much power this guy is really hiding after he just breezed through a level 3 difficulty. The district heads are literally out of their seats, unable to believe the insane talent they're witnessing. Lin notes that Han's musical skills are incredible, with a speed that's 10 times the normal rate. It's totally unheard of. The old master refuses to believe that Yue Wei is just a lowly E-rank spirit. He calls over his assistant, Afu, who has the unique ability to identify the true rank of spirits. He wants a full check on Yue Wei. Afu reveals he already checked, and Yue Wei's situation is just like a legendary lady named Ling Zhen. The old master is floored, because that means the stone read her as E-rank despite her having god-tier talent. Essentially, she became an absolute powerhouse because of her contract with Han. That's the final conclusion Afu reached. The master is shaken, telling Afu that it's vital for Ling Zhen and Han to meet as soon as possible. He then asks Afu if he remembers the name of Ling Zhen's supposedly weak E-rank talent. It's the legendary Shenong Cauldron. Back at the arena, Han tells the examiner he wants to keep going, leaving the man totally stunned. Han promises he's dead serious, and you and I both know we can't wait to see what happens next. Stick around. Alright, you and I are about to see if Han can survive level 4 as he tests his absolute limits. In no time, he flies through difficulty level 5 and quickly makes his way up to the 9th round now. When he reaches the examiner, the man is astounded and suggests that Han stop, but Han refuses, saying he wants to challenge the 10th level. The examiner screams at him, asking if he has lost his mind because since this entire assessment first started, no student has ever successfully cleared difficulty level 10. The crowd is convinced Han lacks the power for level 10 since he only just awakened. Level 10 is the final challenge, and this will feature a genuine third-rank beast that could easily kill him if he continues. Back then, even Wei and his elite colleagues only managed to reach level 9 in this assessment. That record stood for 100 years. Lin is already imagining Han in his district, but Wei is ready to throw hands with anyone who tries to pry him away. It is clear that Lin finally recognizes Han's massive talent, and he is ready to scrap with Wei for Han's signature. In the arena, the examiner says he won't stop him if he really wants to challenge the 10th level, but he warns Han that winning in his current state is basically impossible. Han just sits down, asking for a moment to recover before the final round begins. Now, watch this. The examiner says he only has 5 minutes to rest, but Han cuts him off saying he only needs the time of a song. He starts a melody that immediately triggers a wave of powerful healing magic. Spectators can't believe their eyes as Han literally recharges all of his lost energy. They realize his spirit is an all-rounder. And that is when they finally understand just how terrifying this contracted spirit really happens to be. Behind the scenes, Lin and Wei are about to tear the building down over who gets Han. They are right in the middle of a showdown when the head of District 5, Lu Jingchun, expresses his interest in Han, arguing that the death rate of spirit contractors would drop by at least 30% if Han joined his district. But both of them yell at him at the exact same time, screaming that it is impossible until their master steps in to calm the chaos. He explains that the 8 districts have unique duties. The first district focuses on decisive battles. District 2 handles strategy, the 3rd expands territory, and the 4th seeks the truth. 5 saves lives, 6 guards the passes, and the 7th crosses the vast oceans. The 8th district works behind the scenes. The old man explains that these 8 districts are the pillars holding Daxia in place. The old man admits he has always wanted to create a 9th district, but the moment his disciples hear this, they realize their master is already considering forming a 9th district with Han as the head. Let's pause. Do you think Han is actually ready for this final level 10 challenge? He is about to face off against a monstrous 3rd level Zerg Red Flame Beast. The examiner tells Han that surviving for 3 minutes against the beast's attack counts as passing this final 10th level challenge. The Zerg erupts with a heat wave so intense it almost roasts the audience alive. When the fire finally clears, Han is still standing there without moving an inch, which shocks the audience. They expected him to be running for his life by now, because this Zerg is no joke. Han turns to Ue, asking if she is ready for this fight, and she promises to support him no matter what. Han lunges toward the beast with an overwhelming aura, declaring he is not just there to survive. His charge is immediately knocked back by a massive fireball. Han leaps away just in time to avoid being fried by the beast. Han stays calm and starts playing a tune to unleash a wind attack so strong that the arena shakes and the audience members almost lose their clothes entirely. Han strikes with that overwhelming wind power and begins tearing the beast apart. The crowd watches in total silence as the Zerg turns into piles of dust. Nobody can believe he actually passed and set a record that might truly stand forever without being broken. Lumo and Mei are nearly dying of pure rage at this impossible turn of events. Mei is pissed that Han stole their spotlight. Han might have passed, but the effort was so intense that he immediately passed out. And trust me, you and I are going to want to see what Lin says next. Alright, you and I are diving into a scene where Lin calms Han down, explaining he just has a few questions. Han demands to know what is up, so Lin drops the big one: who wins the war between humanity and the Zerg? Han keeps it real, saying the Zerg are lethal, but humanity? We are definitely not going down without a fight. Lin likes that answer. He pushes further, asking Han what he is actually fighting for as a new contract master. Han says his mission is simple: keep the Zerg from destroying their home so people can finally live in peace. He wants the flag of Daxia flying high again, restoring their vast land to its former glory. Suddenly, an old master appears clapping. He offers to take Han as a disciple, and Lin introduces him as the legendary Li Shutong. Han is floored. The Li family is the most powerful house in all of Daxia. This is massive. See, 100 years ago, 3 major Zerg emperors teamed up to wipe Daxia off the map, and they almost pulled it off. But Shutong stepped up alone, slaughtering all 3 emperors and saving the entire nation. Remembering the history, Han is desperate to join him. He asks if he really has what it takes to be his student. Shutong gives him the green light, so Han immediately bows to show respect to his powerful new master. Shutong loves his spirit. He pats Han on the shoulder, admitting he does not have much for a first meeting gift, but he has something special. However, he hands over a ring carved from the bones of a level 9 Zerg emperor he killed. It even has built-in storage space, and Han is totally blown away by the gift. Just looking at it, Han can feel an overwhelming aura radiating from the bone. He wonders how terrifying that emperor was alive if its mere bones still command this much raw, intimidating power. Shutong warns him that the ring scares off low-level Zerg, but against the truly powerful ones, they will get aggressive. He tells Han he does not have to wear it if he is worried about the heat. Han is not backing down. He promises to wear it forever as a sacred gift from his master. Shutong roars with laughter, telling the group that he absolutely loves the kid's bold spirit. He takes a shot at his other students, calling them cowards for being too scared to wear the ring themselves. Now pay attention, because the master decides it is time to eat since Han and Uwa are likely totally exhausted after completing their exams. Shutong is in a really great mood today, so he takes them out for a massive feast at a spot called Deep Blue Hot Pot. As they sit down, Shutong mentions that Han's seniors will be joining the group very soon since he invited them. Soon, they start rolling in, introducing themselves one by one, from Lin all the way down to Lu. Han tries to be humble and respectful, but they shut that down fast. They are all family now, so no formalities needed. Ya explains that a few brothers couldn't make it to the dinner. He reveals the 6th brother is guarding the border and the 7th is currently overseas, so Han will have to wait to meet them in person. They are just about to mention the 8th brother when the man himself suddenly walks through the door. Get this, he just drops a contact card and tells Han to call him if he ever needs any help. But he only gets one shot. Han is left stunned, thinking the 8th brother has a seriously bizarre personality. Lin brings out gifts from the absent brothers, rare martial arts, sleek battle robes, and top-tier gear. They are enjoying themselves until a loud, rude woman bursts into the room, killing the vibe. It turns out the lady is Uwa's aunt, and she is screaming, accusing the girl of running off to party after mooching off her for years before she awakened. Uwa tries to explain the situation, but the aunt is not hearing it. She raises her hand to slap Uwa right across the face. Han catches her arm midair. The lady recognizes him as the guy who formed a contract with Uwa. She insults Han, claiming he tricked her niece. Han coldly asks what she wants, and she just keeps yapping. She starts demanding money, yapping about how she deserves compensation for raising Uwa all these years. Uwa snaps, screaming at the woman to stop her embarrassing nonsense right now. The aunt sneers, telling Uwa not to act like a big shot just because she finally passed some test. And that is where we leave it for now. Trust me, this drama is just getting started. Alright, you and I are about to watch this greedy lady pick a fight with the absolute wrong group of legends. Shen tries to talk sense into her, but she shushes him before calling Shutong a useless old fossil and an old geezer who should know his place. She doubles down on the disrespect, demanding a massive mountain of gold if they want Uwa. That includes a dowry, a house, and a car, all registered exclusively in her name. She starts bragging about powerful relatives in battle zones 3, 4, and 5, warning that they will all regret crossing her. Enough is enough. Shutong slams his hand down, furious that his disciples are just standing there listening to these insults. He barks an order for them to call their districts, and the group reaches for their phones without a second thought. The lady laughs it off, thinking they are just calling simple guards, and boasts about her own high-level connections. Now watch this. Her phone rings, and it turns out to be her uncle, who starts screaming at her for being a complete idiot and potentially getting them all killed. He tells her to never call him again, and that she is officially on her own. While he keeps shouting through the phone, Shutong just mocks her for thinking her little connections actually meant anything at all. Before the uncle hangs up, he warns her to leave Han and Uea alone if she values her life. She drops her phone in pure shock as the restaurant staff arrives to tell her that her time is up. Desperate, she tries to blame Shutong, claiming that they were the ones actually bullying her the entire time. The staff is not buying it, and they waste no time dragging her out of the restaurant, kicking and screaming. Ua bows low to Shutong, apologizing because she feels like her family drama caused this whole mess. Shutong gently stops her, saying it is not her fault that she ended up with such terrible relatives after losing her parents. He declares that from now on, she and Han are his family, just like the senior disciples sitting at the table. He tells her she is never going back to that aunt's house and offers her a place in his own home. With tears in her eyes, she thanks him, and Shutong tells the two of them to eat until they are full. As he explains the details of the meal, Han takes the chance to ask about what his own future holds. Shutong tells him that everyone walks a different path, and he cannot see what lies ahead for someone like him. Lin suddenly asks if Han and Ua have done the deed yet, but Han clarifies that they have not. Intimacy grants a special replication ability. These abilities are slightly weaker than the original, but they are still incredibly useful for any master. And he adds that spirits have two forms. He explains that spirit companions have two states, a material instrument form and a human form that looks like a normal girl. Apparently, the senior wives are currently in their human forms, managing things for their husbands while they are away on duty. Han is stunned to learn they can fight separately, and Ua reminds him that they have to get close first. Lin asks if Yue is really rank E, and you and I are about to see the truth about his secret power. Because of that ability, she actually reached a staggering SSS rank. The brothers are absolutely floored since they have never even heard of a power like that in their entire lives. Han explains that he did not just pick her randomly, and he is definitely not a fool when it comes to power. With his talent, he will merge with any spirit that has divinity, regardless of how low their starting rank might be. Han knows that besides the Fuiqin, there are 9 other ancient divine artifacts still hidden out there. Shutong warns Han to keep his mouth shut and never tell anyone outside of this circle about his gift. He then orders Lin to set Han and Ua's data to the highest level of security so no one can find it. After the serious talk, the brothers give Shutong quick updates on how things are going in their various districts. He commends them for their hard work, and the group raises a toast to the country before the night finally ends. Later that night, Shutong leads Uea and Han to his personal estate, where they will be staying for now. They are overwhelmed by the size of the place, and Han admits he never expected Shutong to have such a massive house. Shutong explains that this city was his wife's home, which prompts Han to ask more about the woman. The mood instantly shifts as the old man reveals that his wife died in the heat of battle years ago. He notes that everyone remembers him for winning the war, but nobody ever stops to remember the woman beside him. And that's where we leave it. Shutong admits he is nothing without her, leaving us with a powerful reminder that even legends carry deep scars. Shutong tells Han to treat Ua with respect, because she is his other half, not just some tool. Stick with me, you and I are about to see Han prove he is a man of his word. He asks for Shutong's wife's name, believing that as long as one person remembers her, she will never truly be forgotten. Shutong is impressed, noting how different Han is from the others, and reveals his late wife's name was Lingmi. Turns out, during the war against the Zerg emperors, the old master only took down one of the beasts. It was Lingmi who fought to her last breath to kill the other two, earning the true honor of saving their nation. With the night growing cold, Shutong urges the young couple to go find a room and get some rest. Later, the old master stares at the moon, holding a cherished photo of his late wife by his side. Han and Ua soon arrive, offering to keep him company so he does not have to be alone tonight. Shutong is touched, telling the young man that seeing the two of them together reminds him of his own marriage. Suddenly, he unleashes a heavy aura, warning Han that protecting those he loves requires overwhelming, absolute strength. He decides to teach Han his most powerful martial art, taking a deep breath before shattering a massive tree with one punch. The old man reveals this technique is called the 8 Locks Fist, a secret style for the truly elite. He explains that the form targets 8 hidden pressure points located deep within the human body. Once a fighter unlocks all 8 of these points, they can surpass the physical limits of any normal human. Now watch this part closely. Han mimics the move perfectly, leaving Shutong in total shock after seeing it just once. The young genius confidently explains that he simply found the position of the locks by following his natural instincts. Realizing Han might be too much of a prodigy, Shutong immediately punches him into the dirt without hesitation. As Han groans in pain, it becomes clear the master is just trying to make sure the kid doesn't get arrogant. Even with a genius student, the old man sighs in relief, admitting it feels good to put a prodigy in his place. Shutong does not let up, continuing to pummel Han under the guise of an intensive, high-level training session. By the next morning, Han's head is so swollen he looks like he lost a fight with a swarm of bees. He does not mind the bruises though, knowing his master was just playing around while teaching him real power. Things are peaceful until Lu Mao shows up, deciding it is a great time to challenge Han to a public fight. The bully and his lackeys start talking trash, leaving poor Uyua completely confused by the sudden and random hostility. Han tells her not to worry, dismissing Lu Mao and his crew as nothing more than a bunch of annoying flies. The duo then heads to the principal's office, where they are greeted with some seriously bad news from the higher-ups. They have been officially assigned to the city of Deep Blue to join the Guardian organization's frontline units. The principal hands over the notice, explaining that they are required to report for their new duty immediately. Han is stunned to be sent to the front line so soon, while the principal sighs at the waste of talent. He admits the decision is unfair, but his hands are tied since the orders came from the very top. Han tells the man not to worry about it, calmly accepting the dangerous mission without any hesitation at all. He believes this is the exact path his master wanted him to walk, standing on his own 2 feet. Upon leaving the office, Lu Mao starts up with his insults again, but Han is clearly done with his nonsense. Lu Mao threatens him, boasting that his time spent with Mei has made him stronger than ever before. The two clash instantly, charging at one another and throwing heavy punches that collide with a loud, ringing boom. I know what you're thinking, and yeah, Han just crushed every single nerve in that bully's hand. He holds his hand in agony, screaming out for his mother, but Han is not done with him yet. He lands a brutal punch to the face, sending the jerk to the ground with his teeth flying everywhere. Han grabs Ua and tells her it is time to go, reassuring her that the guy got exactly what he deserved. When she asks where they are headed, he reminds her they have a new station to report to now. Soon after, they arrive at the Guardian station and approach the attendant at the front counter. The man assumes they are just customers, but Han corrects him, stating they are there to join the organization. Hearing this, the attendant drops his game and takes a closer look at the 2 young recruits. Trust me, you and I can tell that laugh means someone ordered him to make their lives a living hell. Alright, you and I are jumping right in as our main character gets assigned to Team 0527 with Han as the leader. Inside the Guardian organization, each city has a first team responsible for overseeing all other Guardians. The rest are numbered based on their specific territory, split up into various specialized teams. The guy tells Han and Yue where to go, but once they enter the office of Team 0527, they find it totally trashed. 2 people are inside, and a woman rudely asks Han what he wants. He doesn't flinch, introducing himself to both of them as their brand new team captain. The guy slumped on the couch just loses it, laughing that a kid like Han has no business leading anyone. He tells Han to go play with some toys, causing Uveu to scold him for being so disrespectful. She asks him why he would say something so cruel. Han is totally disappointed that such a trashy dude is even in the organization, which shows how far this team has fallen. The drunk guy stands up and slowly approaches Yue. He starts hitting on her, asking if she is interested in becoming his contract spirit instead. This pisses Han off, and he punches the dude so hard he goes flying, blood spraying from his filthy mouth. Even after eating dirt, this guy, Effin, just grabs his wine bottle to start another round of drinking. The girl, Hong Yingwei, tells Effin to deal with their new leader because she is heading inside to get some rest. Effin begs her for some alcohol money, but she slams the door while screaming that she is totally broke. Now pay attention here. Effin admits the team is so bankrupt they can't even afford to buy a cheap drink. He says Han should leave for his own good, but Han fires back that as long as he is here, this downfall is only temporary. Effin just mocks him from his computer, telling Han that he is way too full of himself. He tells him to check the rankings. They are dead last in the city when it comes to Guardian points. With only 2 months left in the year, the organization is about to start a massive round of layoffs for the failing teams. Anyone who gets cut will be sent straight to the lower district. Based on their current score, Effin says it is basically a done deal, they are definitely getting relegated. The lower district is a literal death trap. He suggests that Han should leave now if he does not want to die down there. Effin chucks his empty bottle at Han just to show him how serious the situation really is. Han realizes some hidden enemy is pulling strings to bury him, but he is not about to let that happen. Yue whispers to Han that they should just walk away since Effin seems like a total lost cause. Han tells her that running makes you a coward. The only way to get stronger is by facing the problem head-on. Besides, joining another team wouldn't stop his enemies from coming after him anyway. His plan? Turn this trash team into the city's best and ruin his rival's little scheme. Han then makes his way into the inner room where Ying is sitting alone. She coldly tells him to get lost, but Han asks if she is really okay with just sitting around and waiting to die. Check this out. Han exposes her secret by calling her Baiwang. She immediately flares up in anger and shock, demanding to know how Han saw through her lies. It turns out his skill allows him to see every single secret she is currently hiding. Han tells Baiwang that since he has already introduced himself, it is only fair that he gives her a small demonstration of what he can really do. He knows she secretly wants the team to work. She tells him to back off if he thinks he can blackmail her with that info. Han stretches his hands out toward her. He invites her to join him on some missions. After all, she definitely doesn't want to end up in that hellhole. Effin might be done for, but Han promises her half the rewards if she will just cooperate with him. She just needs to see that he is not bluffing about his power. Baiwang shakes his hand and agrees. She knows Han is no ordinary guy if he could see right through her lies. Han puts her in charge of gathering the tasks while he handles all the heavy lifting. She pulls up 3 jobs that fit their current rank and tells him he is free to take a look. Looking at the tablet, Han realizes these are all low-level tasks that will not give them many points. He tells her they need high-stakes missions if they are going to climb the rankings in time. Han settles on a mission to wipe out the Zerg infestation inside the city tower. Trust me, we need to see this. It is meant for 8 people. Alright, stick with me. Bai thinks Han has lost his mind because this mission is built for 2 full teams. Han tells the receptionist these are exactly the high-point quests they need, accepting the job before Bai can even protest. Bai warns him they are dead if they fail, since the penalty is losing 10% of their hard-earned reward points. But Han just brushes it off, telling her not to sweat the small stuff, he has got this under control. Bai reluctantly follows since she gave her word, though she is basically preparing to haul Han's corpse back after they fail. Meanwhile, the team originally eyeing the sewer quest finds out it is gone, and loses it. That is a massive 300-point prize. They decide to stake out the area to see which brave idiot was crazy enough to steal their target mission. A few moments later, Han and his squad finally descend into the dark, murky depths of the sewer. Bai tells everyone to stay sharp, there is a high risk of hitting a second-tier Zerg down here. Han just signals Yui. Once they lock eyes and sync up, the duo blasts deeper into the tunnels, leaving a confused Bai behind. She screams for them to slow down, knowing the dangerous Zerg waiting in the shadows are no joke. Suddenly, Bai feels an eerie, powerful wave of energy surging through the air. She fears the worst has already happened. She races toward their position, terrified that something terrible has happened, but when she finally catches up, she is stunned to find Han standing over a massive pile of dead monsters. Han turns back with total confidence, telling her the job is already finished and she can relax now. Since things went so smoothly, Han tells Bai to harvest the Zerg corpses for materials because they are going to fetch a massive profit. He then points to a body on the floor, identifying the missing guardian. Too bad the guy is already dead, so she might as well drag him back for the bounty too. Bai stands there completely speechless, unable to fathom how Han just decimated a second-tier Zerg threat like it was absolutely nothing. 1 full hour later, the other team finally hits the sewers only to freeze in shock, realizing every single monster has already been wiped off the map. One guy notes that every single monster was taken out with just one clean, devastating strike. The whole team is left shivering, wondering what kind of monster could have finished this mission so fast. Now, watch this carefully. Hu just got word that Han's team finished 2 missions, hitting 350 points. Hu is furious, screaming at his subordinate for failing his direct order to sabotage Han's progress. The lackey begs for forgiveness while Hu, literally trembling with rage, swears he is going to make Han's life a nightmare. Hu orders Bei to command every other team to snatch up every available mission in Deep Blue City, ensuring Han has nothing left to do. Later that night during dinner, Shutong asks Han if he needs help dealing with Hu. Han refuses, complaining that the Guardians aren't even protecting the city anymore despite it being their literal job. He's much more concerned about the deep-rooted corruption spreading through the association. Shutong mentions that while Han was out hunting Zerg, the association was decaying from the inside out. He needs Han to purge the corruption, which is why he picked him. With Shutong giving him the green light to clean house, Han officially agrees to take on the mission. Han then admits he is stuck on the 8th level of the 8 Quick Fist technique and asks his master for guidance. Shutong tells him to meditate on the 4 words between life and death if he wants to truly advance. The advice sticks in Han's mind as he starts searching for a way to break his limits. I know what you are thinking, and yeah, that night, Yui just walks into Han's room and asks to sleep there. Han is totally caught off guard, asking Yui why she is here when there are plenty of other empty rooms. Yui explains that Shutong locked all the other doors, so Han finally gives in and lets her stay. Han offers to take the floor, but Yui refuses, insisting that he must sleep on the bed with her. Even though it feels totally weird, the two end up sharing the same mattress. The next morning, Han wakes up full of energy, ready to hunt down some brand new tasks for the day. When they hit the office, they find a surprisingly respectful Effen and Bai waiting for them. Turns out they did their homework and realized Han is the double S-rank genius from the famous Qing Tang Academy. Bai bows low to apologize for her earlier attitude, but Han tells her to drop the act, they are teammates now. Bai admits she was worried a high-level talent like him would be wasted here, surprised the higher-ups sent him to such a trashy dump. Han tells her that weak people are shaped by their surroundings, but he is here to reshape the environment himself. Effen warns him that Hu is a total menace, trust me. You and I won't want to miss what's next. Alright, you and I are about to dive into a world where even getting a job is a life-or-death struggle. Bai breaks the news to Han every single mission in the city has been snatched up by someone else already. She asks Han for a plan because it is clear their enemies are already moving way faster than them. Since Deep Blue City is tapped out, Han suggests they pivot and set up a new permanent base in Kangai City. After refreshing the list, they find new missions, but he is warned that going after them means leaving the safety of the city. Traveling outside means facing roads crawling with Zergs, so the team piles into a truck and guns it for Kangai City. While on the road, Bai spots something bizarre in the distance and asks what it is. Han identifies the threat as a first-tier Zerg known as a dead ashfly. These monsters hunt in swarms, and the bigger the group, the more lethal and destructive they become. Ivan, who is lounging in the back, finally sits up and completely loses it when he sees the massive cloud of flies. Now pay attention, because this swarm is swirling like a massive tornado, and Han knows the damage they cause will be absolute chaos. Effen is ready for a fight, but Bai waits for Han to make the final call. Han realizes the swarm is actually hunting a convoy. Bai asks if they should intervene to save the travelers, and Han gives her the green light. He tells Bai to floor it, and she drifts the car hard to the right while Effen starts cheering like he just hit the jackpot. Effen even bangs his head in the excitement, but he does not even care. Trapped inside that convoy is a very high-profile lady, Shang Sighting. Seeing their grim situation, her guards prepare for a final stand to save their lady, knowing reinforcements will never make it to this remote road in time. The squad leader grabs his radio to talk to the other guards. He tells them to prepare for the ultimate sacrifice, but Sighting grabs the phone, ordering them not to give up until the very last second. However, the guards refuse, insisting that protecting her is their only sacred duty. They unleash a wall of firepower against the annoying monsters closing in on them. Suddenly, the rear vehicle gets swallowed by the storm and sent spinning high into the air. Sighting is heartbroken, but her butler tells her it is their honor to die for her. Right then, a strange, haunting sound echoes from the distance. When they look out, they see Han tearing through the swarm using nothing but musical notes. Sighting is totally mesmerized as the deadly storm is wiped away in a matter of seconds. The butler is left speechless, wondering where a powerhouse like Han could have possibly come from out of nowhere. The last few flies fire their stingers at the truck, but Effen jumps out to tank every single shot. His body gets turned into a pincushion as he crashes back into the truck, but he just laughs like a total psycho about how good it feels. Han starts ripping the needles out, warning Effen he will be dead in seconds if they do not get them all. But then, Han realizes the stingers are being pushed out on their own. You and I both saw that coming, right? Han uses his skill and is shocked to discover that Effen actually possesses an immortality trait. Even so, he has no clue what that trait really means or how it works. Effen sees the look on Han's face and tells him to beg if he wants the secret. Han pride is too high for that, so he just walks away. After traveling further, they find their first mission site swarming with flying Zergs. Yui transforms and Han finally lets his inner horror loose on them. He obliterates the entire swarm with one single strike, leaving Effen in shock that he could one-shot monsters like they were nothing. Even Bai is stunned because Han just keeps smashing every expectation she ever had. The team starts blitzing through missions, and when the other squads see the leaderboard back home, they completely lose it. At first, they think it is some elite squad, but it soon clicks that it is Team 0527 from Deep Blue City. The local Kanghai teams are furious, feeling like Han Crew is only there to make them look pathetic. They scramble into action to snatch up every remaining task they can find, fueled by nothing but pure rage. They race to finish everything before Han and his team, who they are now calling task bullies, can steal the rest of the glory. They finally target a high-difficulty mission, but by the time they arrive, Han has already cleared the area. Trust me, you and I are going to want to see how this ends, as the leader orders his driver to find Han's team immediately. However, all right, you and I are jumping right back in as a team member grabs his captain, explaining that the group already skipped town after turning in their quests. Word on the street is someone spotted their truck hauling out of the city just minutes ago, and it looks like he is right, because Han and his squad have already completely vanished. Cut to Su Mingguan, the third in command over at the prestigious Guardian Association. He suddenly notices that the quest completion rate in the local cities has spiked through the roof. His assistant reports that a group of task bullies has hit the city, specialized in stealing quests from every neighboring region, which has triggered a massive chain reaction across the entire board. Su immediately orders his assistant to pull the team's files because he needs to know exactly who these task bullies really are. A moment later, the assistant returns with the folders, and Su tells him to back off before he opens them. As he cracks the first file, he sees the names Effen and Bai. He is stunned to find that both of their records are marked as top secret, which is incredibly rare. He definitely doesn't expect the third file, which is Han's record, to be classified too. But then he gets a real shock. Han's file only lists his name and his academy, leaving every other detail completely blank and restricted. Su thinks it is a mistake until he gets a direct call from Lin. Now, stick with me here, this alone is terrifying because he has no idea why a big shot like Lin would contact him. He tries to offer a greeting, but Lin goes straight to the point. She orders him to stop investigating those files because they are way above his security clearance level. Su agrees to back off, but he is left wondering who the hell Han is for someone like Lin to call him personally. Meanwhile, Han is still out there crushing tasks with his teammates. After finishing their 18th quest, Han tells the group to check their score, With the sheer amount of work they have put in, they should easily be ranked number 1 by now. Bai checks the stats and tells Han they have 1,800 points. But even with that massive score, they are still ranked dead last. The entire team is in shock because a ranking like that should be impossible. Yui asks if someone is faster than them, but Bai is convinced that someone is out to get them once again. Han checks the leaderboard and sees the team just above them has 2,300 points. This points out that something is clearly wrong because there is no way over a dozen teams all have double S rank level talents. Han explains that they are witnessing pure score manipulation. It looks like all the top teams have agreed to tie at a specific high score. After finishing the quests, all those points are being funneled to a single person. Essentially, no rules are being broken since the points were earned legally. Bai loses it in a rage, realizing they have been set up from the start. Han tells his team not to worry because the scores are close. They still have a real chance to blast past everyone above them. He suggests they head back to Deep Blue City first, and the rest of the team agrees. When they get home, Shutong asks Han how the mission went. Han admits that things went well, but they didn't exactly walk away with the results they were looking for. Still, Han is happy they rescued a merchant caravan during the trip, so the whole journey wasn't a total waste of time. Shutong is surprised because he already heard from Sighting that she was saved by some insensitive guy, meaning she was talking about Han. Apparently, she has been pestering Shutong ever since, asking how she can finally awaken her powers so she can become a powerful and respected contract spirit master. Han is pretty surprised to find out the old man knows Sighting. Shutong explains that Sighting's grandfather is an old friend, and the Shang family is one of the 5 major corporations, right behind Kong Technology. They basically develop high-end weaponry for regular people and contract spirit masters who don't have spirits. Shutong says he looks at Sighting like his own granddaughter. You and I can see Han's shock as he learns how important she really is. Shutong reveals her family set up a challenge just to make her quit. But then Han appeared out of nowhere and completely ruined their plan. Han feels a bit bad, wondering if he accidentally messed up a well-intentioned family lesson. But Shutong tells him it is fine because the caravan was actually carrying goods meant for Han anyway. These are gifts he wants to give to Han. Shutong opens the box to reveal 2 glowing elixirs, one purple and one green. Han asks what they are, and Shutong explains these elixirs will help him break through to the next level. Han has heard that elixirs can boost strength, speed, and defense, but he has always wondered if it's true. Trust me, you and I are about to see if they work as Han and Yui swallow the elixirs. Alright, stick with me, our main character is about to take his powers to the next level. He admits this elixir is powerful. Plus, Yui is suddenly flooded with lethal new combat symbols. Han unlocks some incredible new offensive skills too. Once the dust settles, Han tells Shutong the elixir was amazing, helping him level up and giving Yui a huge boost. Shutong gives them his approval, impressed by their growth. Suddenly, Han's phone rings. It's an urgent call from Bai. Bai tells him to check the city's task board immediately because a new mission just dropped. It is a red alert. High-level wanderers have been spotted dangerously close to the city walls. The reward is 1,000 points, and the mission is open to anyone brave enough. These are Tier 3 wanderers. Bai is terrified since a single adult is as lethal as 3 Tier 3 masters. Han says they will talk in person. He and Yui sprint off, leaving Shutong with a quick goodbye for their mission. Shutong can only watch them go, sighing that he has officially become the old man now. After they leave, Afu appears with news. They found Ling Zhen, but she flat out refuses to come back home. Shutong asks for her coordinates. Afu reveals she is currently hiding in Kangai City. Later, Han meets the squad. Bai looks him in the eye and asks if they are actually going. Now watch closely, this is where Han shows why he is the leader we all want, refusing to let this golden chance slip away. Bai warns him that wanderers are the Zerg's most lethal type. Most fighters can't even survive a juvenile one. Han reminds her this red alert is critical. If they don't kill it now, it will wipe the city once it is grown. Han reminds her they are a guardian team. They fight for humanity, not just points. Effen can't help but tease his captain for being so incredibly noble. Seeing how hyped they are, Bai finally agrees to lead the team straight to the mission site. On site, another team is already watching from a rooftop. Below them, a strange black veil covers the entire area. Their leader explains to the group that this black veil blocks out all outside perception, creating its very own isolated and deadly pocket dimension. Anything inside ages and rots at a terrifying speed until there is absolutely nothing left but dust. 1. A teammate asks why the bosses are still calling for help when they are already on the scene. He wonders if this means the higher-ups don't trust their strength. The leader explains that these wanderers are monsters. They need plenty of decoys to soak up the damage. You and I both know that look, somebody is planning a betrayal, wanting the first wave of cannon fodder to walk into the veil. He watches through his binoculars, grinning wickedly as he sees Han's team preparing to step into the veil. Han warns everyone to stay sharp because that black veil is extremely dangerous. Bai asks one last time if he is sure, because once they are in, there is no turning back. Effin brags the veil won't touch him, while Han promises the team they will make it out alive. Han leads the way in. The second they cross over, they feel a crushing pressure. The insectoids are definitely here. Han tells everyone to stay on guard. Uwe whispers that she feels a pair of invisible eyes watching their every move. Suddenly, a chilling sound echoes in the distance, and they feel the very life being sucked out of them. Bai explains the veil has a life deprivation skill. As long as they are inside, their energy will drain away until they are just empty husks. Ivan notes they only have 30 minutes. If they can't shatter this veil from the inside, they are just monster snacks. Bai points toward a black sphere in the distance, and Effin confirms that is the target. Han locks his eyes on it. To survive, they have to smash that black sphere to pieces. Without warning, the ground shifts. A giant, squishy wall rises up and swallows Bai whole in seconds. Han realizes the Wanderer doesn't just steal life from its enemies, it has a life bestow skill too. It can bring weapons and even the ground to life to hunt them down. Uwe transforms instantly. She tells Han it is time to tear this place apart and save their friend. Trust me, you are going to want to see how this ends as Han unleashes pure destruction on the wall. Alright, stick with me because this wall isn't just strong, it is totally unmovable. Suddenly, it closes in to form a perfect square. Han realizes they are totally finished because this Wanderer is dead set on trapping them inside. Out of nowhere, a disgusting bug lunges at Han's back. It nearly burrows into him, but he just barely manages to dodge. Han panics the second he recognizes the creature. Yue is confused, asking him why a simple bug has him so shaken up. Meanwhile, the first team on the outside is feeling overconfident. They are certain they can finish this mission regardless of the risks. They are certain they can just retreat if things go sideways. But everything goes south fast when a mysterious cloud suddenly swallows them whole. Pure panic sets in. None of them understands the strange phenomenon that is happening to them. As the fog starts to clear, one teammate reaches out to tap his captain on the shoulder, but the captain snaps, grabbing him like a mortal enemy. That disgusting bug Han saw earlier has already taken full control of him. Another parasite claims the next teammate instantly. Meanwhile, back inside, it turns out Ifan successfully managed to rescue Bai from that lethal wall. Bai asks Ifan if he is worried about the danger. He just looks at her and says he is not. Bai admits she is jealous of his power. It must be nice acting this reckless when you simply cannot die. But Ifan disagrees. To him, immortality is not a gift, it is a curse and a different kind of punishment. Ifan casually tells Bai they should give up since there is no way to leave. Bai is shocked, asking who exactly said they could not leave. Now Ifan is the confused one, demanding to know if she has an exit. Bai just taps the surface. She unleashes a skill that causes the entire wall to dissolve instantly. Ivan celebrates because this means they actually have a chance. With the barrier gone, they spot Han on the outside and Bai calls to him. Han smashes through the wall in front of him and finally reunites with his desperate teammates. Bai is happily bragging about her impressive skill when watch this. A massive golem hand suddenly erupts from behind, targeting her and Ifan. Han screams a warning at them, but it is already too late for them to move. Before they are crushed, Han's skill triggers and slices through the giant arm. He leaps in front, telling them to stay right behind him. Terror takes over when they see a massive golem towering directly in front of them. The golem strikes, but Han raises his defense. He successfully blocks the hit, though the resulting shockwave is so powerful it sends both Bai and Ifan flying. Han shouts that these monsters are just summons. To end this nightmare, they must find and destroy the Wanderer's actual body as fast as humanly possible. Han realizes the Wanderer merged with the Dark World the moment that Black Veil was released. That is exactly why only a single black sphere remains. He figures out that if they shatter that black sphere, the Wanderer will finally fall. Bai and Ifan tell Han to go for it. They promise to have his back no matter what happens. The golem charges, and Ifan activates his immortality skill to face tank a devastating punch from the beast. But he warns Han that his immortality only lasts for 6 hits. He needs a solution before all 6 charges run out. Han focuses everything on the sphere. He starts weaving a power tune strong enough to wipe it out in one shot. The melody is so intense that the surrounding energy nearly rips Ifan's body into pieces. Han finally fires the attack. It slams into the sphere, shattering the entire thing into nothing but dust. Now, I know what you are thinking, victory, right? Wrong. Han is bleeding out and yelling at Ifan to run for his life. An adult wanderer has suddenly appeared. It stares them down and coldly promises that not a single soul is escaping. Ifan is terrified. But then Bai steps out from behind the wanderer, acting completely and utterly bizarre. She tells them that this adult wanderer is actually a special surprise she brought just for the two of them. She admits to hiding the truth with lies, keeping the monster close until the perfect moment to release it and deliver the finishing blow. Han is completely lost, asking her why she is doing this. Bai just laughs like a maniac and admits she wants to kill both Ifan and Han. Tears stream down her face, but a strange, glowing symbol has appeared inside her pupils. Effen is totally confused and asks Han what they are even looking at. Han realizes he is not mistaken, because this is the second time he has seen this. Ivan demands an explanation, and Han delivers the grim truth. Bai has been completely taken over by a parasite. Han explains that the symbol in her eyes belongs to the terrifying and famous creature known as the eroding worm. The eroding worm is a rank 4 insect species notorious for its terrifying ability called brain erosion. You and I just saw a friend turn into a puppet. Anyone infected is completely controlled by this nightmare parasite. Alright, you and I are diving into a nightmare because these worms can literally clone themselves asexually. History shows a 7-star powerhouse once had his brain hijacked by this exact same eroding worm. He ended up butchering the very city he swore to protect, leaving nothing but carnage and corpses. The organization threw everything they had at him to stop the massacre, but the cost in lives and resources was absolutely devastating. Han thought these monsters were extinct, supposedly wiped out by the First District over 32 years ago. Now he's wondering how this parasite is still alive and kicking while Effen begs him to run for his life. But Han knows running isn't an option. The adult wanderer just absorbed its dead kin, expanding that pitch-black veil tenfold. There is literally nowhere left for them to hide. With their current speed, they'll be slaughtered before they even reach the edge. They are stuck in the kill zone with no way out. Han tells Effen he only needs one thing, enough time for one super song. Watch closely, because as Han starts healing, Bai panics and orders the wanderer to strike. A massive energy blast flies out, but Effen's shield is there to catch it. That was close. Suddenly, Bai charges Effen, tapping his shoulder to infect his mind with her twisted power of lies. She whispers that his immortality is a total sham, but Effen isn't buying it. He headbutts her right in the face, telling her she doesn't get to decide what's real or not. As she hits the dirt, a bug bursts from Bai's head and sinks its teeth into Effen, draining his shield down to just 2 charges. Effen grabs the parasite and crushes it in a rage, but the Wanderer now knows his weakness. It rockets into the air, charging up another blast while mocking Effen, eager to see exactly how much longer he can survive. The beam slams down, but once again, Effen holds the line with his shield. Effen's panicking, screaming for Han to hurry up, but Han is already done. He tells Uwe and Effen to handle the worms while he takes the big boss head on. Han finally unlocks 8 quick fists, telling the Wanderer it's actually impressive that it managed to push him to use his full power. Han explodes toward the monster, aiming a punch straight for oblivion. But the Wanderer is too fast, it dodges, and Han's fist shatters a wall into dust instead. The creature pulls a sword from its mouth, admitting that Han's strength was totally unexpected. It swings the blade, unleashing a horizontal slash that carves through everything in its path. The monster wonders how many hits Han can take, but our hero blocks the edge with his gauntlet. And here's where it gets wild. The Wanderer recognizes that gauntlet. It's the same weapon that killed a Zerg king 10 years ago. You saw that right? The monster sneers, saying that legendary gear belongs to the strong, and Han just doesn't make the cut. Han Lungesbeck in, shouting that while he might be weak, this monster is definitely no Zerg king either. He lands a devastating punch, sending shockwaves through the air. Han starts a rapid-fire assault, landing heavy blows even as the monster tries to weave. The Wanderer realizes whoever gave Han that weapon must really care about him, meaning his death would break that person's heart. Talk about a sadistic way to think, right? The monster goes full offensive, clearly getting off on the thought of that misery. But Han slips up, and the creature drives its sword into his shoulder before blasting him backward. Han realizes he has to end this fast. If the Wanderer fully absorbs its kin's energy, its power will skyrocket to a level he simply can't touch. He calms his breathing and sharpens his senses. This is it, the life and death situation his master warned him about. He has to push past his limits right now. Han triggers level 2 of the 8 quick fists. He's fighting for his life, and he can't afford to waste another second. He blurs forward again, at blinding speed. Before the monster can blink, Han delivers a soul-crushing punch that shatters its entire body. It explodes into pieces, and Han finally claims victory. But then, the severed head speaks, laughing that Han's the one who actually lost. Han watches in horror as the creature's body parts start crawling back together. Effen screams out that Bai is gone. Before they can react, the Wanderer hurls a massive boulder, swearing that nobody is escaping its grasp alive. Effen blocks the rock, but his immortality charge finally hits 0. He's wide open and begs Han to run while he still can. But look at this, a massive destructive hand appears from the sky to finish the job. Insane. Alright, you and I are jumping in just as the team realizes Shuang totally saved their lives. Shuang's got that just-in-time smile, while Han finally breathes easy seeing his master arrive. But Han is running on empty and collapses, so Shuang tells Effen and Ua to get him to the city while he handles cleanup. Effen is totally lost. What kind of cleanup is his master actually talking about? As they talk, the queen bug flees into the night. And later, Han wakes up in a hospital bed screaming for his master. He is completely out of it, not realizing the battle is already over. Yue is right there, overjoyed that he is awake, but Han is still spinning. He asks Yue where he is, and she tells him he is safe in the hospital. She explains that Shuang cleared the bugs after he passed out, but since the queen escaped, they brought Han back to heal. Han asks about Effen, but Yue just sighs. Effen is currently in the intensive care unit. His bones and meridians were totally crushed by that boulder, and honestly, without his immortality talent, he would be dead. The damage is brutal, but Yue promises his immortality is slowly repairing the injuries. Suddenly, a nurse rushes in with some wild news. Effen is missing. Han is shocked, but Yue reveals their master actually ordered them to track those parasite worms on their own. Since Bai's disappearance is tied to those parasite bugs, Yue thinks Effen went looking for Bai, and Han explains she is the vital link because these bugs reproduce asexually. Here is the part you and I should watch kill that queen bug, and the whole hive dies instantly. Han is certain Effen found a lead and went to investigate solo. Then Yue drops another bomb. The Guardians organization just docked their team 100 points for no reason. Why? Because Shuang was the one who actually finished the mission. Every other team lost points too since they technically failed. Han is livid. They are risking everything while the association plays these dirty games. Yue adds they even snatched the Wanderer's corpse without leaving a trace. All the valuable materials were hauled back to the Guardians building. Han asks if Shuang mentioned anything, and Yue says their master called it a personal feud where no one should interfere. Hearing that nobody will interfere, Han catches the hint their master is basically giving them the green light. Han immediately decides it is time to head to the association building to take back what belongs to them, storming in while the others are celebrating. Han roars for Hu to show his face. Hu's lackey mocks Han for showing up. Han drops him instantly, his aura exploding in rage. You feel that too, right? The silence after Han slaps a top fighter right into the pavement. Others start filming, threatening to report Han to the big bosses for breaking the rules. The guy pulls a knife, but Han catches him like he is nothing. Han flings him around until Hu finally shows up. Han mocks his trash face and demands an apology. Hu says he is delusional and asks if the video was sent to the higher-ups. It was sent straight to Suming Xuan, the vice head. Hu sneers that Han is finished. Once the bosses see this, he is toast. Yue is worried, but Han knows that with Shuang's backing, they are untouchable. Hu's headquarters finally replies. His man looks shaken. Handle it yourself, it is an internal issue. Better yet, the supervisors were so impressed by Han's skill that they invited him to join their department. Trust me, you and I just witnessed Hu's entire plan blow up in the most satisfying way possible. Alright, stick with me. Han asks if he is finally ready to apologize, while Hu just wants to know his price. Han calls him out for stealing materials his team worked so hard to get their hands on. He demands access to the organization treasure vault, claiming he will pick out whatever it takes to satisfy his entire team of members today. Hu argues that it is impossible since the vault is packed with their most elite, hand-picked treasures. Han acts surprised, pointing out that one man can only carry so much with his two bare hands. Now watch this. It finally clicks for Hu. He thinks Han is right because the number of items a single person can carry is tiny. He agrees to the deal, but only Han can enter. He even warns Han that they will check to make sure he hasn't hidden anything besides what he is holding. Han accepts immediately. Why? Because he has got a secret trump card that storage ring Shutong gave him. Once he steps inside, Han slams the door shut, leaving Hu's men outside wondering if they are going to regret this decision. Hu scoffs, bragging that the vault holds tens of thousands of items he doesn't even recognize himself. He is dead certain that Han is just going to get lost in the sheer scale of the treasure. Hu is positive Han won't be able to carry much out, even if he manages to find the best stuff. His subordinate agrees, saying Hu is totally right. Inside, Han pulls out a treasure appraisal book and realizes this place is a literal goldmine of high-value items. Han scans the room, identifying every top-tier artifact. He wastes no time activating his storage ring, literally vacuuming up every single valuable piece of treasure in the entire vault. An hour passes, and Hu starts getting nervous that Han is still in there. Suddenly, Han walks out, casually thanking them for being so patient. Yuve rushes over to ask how it went, but Han just tells her he will explain everything once they get home. You and I both saw that coming, right? Hu and his men are baffled that Han walked out empty-handed, so they call the vault manager. The manager reports that Han took 5 items. Hu is already celebrating, thinking 5 is nothing, until the manager clarifies that those 5 items actually contained 50% of the vault's total value. Hu absolutely loses his mind. He vows that Han won't get away with this, fuming that he should have just taken 1 or 2 things. He orders his assistant to report to headquarters, but the guy admits they were already crushed. Hu has been completely and utterly defeated. Back home, Han is satisfied with how they handled Hu. He wonders if the guy will ever have the nerve to act arrogant again. Suddenly, Uv shows up wearing nothing but a towel. She tells Han it is late and time to come to bed. Han turns bright red, asking what she means by that. Uv explains that ever since he got injured, she has been terrified of losing him. Because of that, he is not allowed to escape her sight. They are right in the middle of this moment when a girl in a nightgown walks into the room. Uv jumps off Han immediately. They had no idea anyone else was supposed to be living in this house. Han asks who she is, but she fires back. She is shocked they don't know who she is when they are in her grandfather's house. Han asks if she is Shutong's granddaughter. She confirms it, introducing herself as the one and only Ling Zhen. Ling says she already knows all about him. While they talk, Han scans her stats and realizes she possesses a legendary divine artifact known as the Shenong Cauldron. He is stunned to find out she is actually one of the 10 divine artifacts herself. He awkwardly asks if wearing a nightgown around the house is really appropriate. She just tells him, this is what makes her comfortable at home. Apparently, it helps her find the right inspiration to create her work. Yuv asks what she means by that, and Ling reveals she is actually a very popular novelist. Ling apologizes to Yuv for ruining her romantic moment, but then asks if she wants to keep going. Yuv hesitates to answer, so Ling teases her. If she doesn't hurry up, Ling might just steal her spot. She starts rushing toward Han, but Uwe grabs her instantly. She reminds the girl they just met and haven't built any kind of emotional connection yet. Ling Zhen argues that you don't need emotions to sign a contract, which catches Uwe completely off guard. Han confirms she has divinity. If she forms a contract, he can use his skills to trigger a second awakening. This gets Ling hyped up. She immediately reaches for her shirt to tear it open so they can start the contract. Han is totally confused by the situation and asks her what on earth she is trying to do. She says she is just starting the contract process. Han asks what that has to do with her taking her clothes off. And that's where we leave things apparently. In her novels, contracts require some very close contact to work. Wild, right? Alright. You and I are about to see how a simple rescue turns into something way more intense. Han then activates his divine radiance to trigger her second awakening, stripping away her nightwear as a surge of warm energy floods through every part of her body. The awakening is a success, and Ling Xuan finally manifests her triple S-class contract spirit. It turns out the Shenong Cauldron can refine items to their pure essence, and Han is shocked that Ling can now extract spiritual energy. This means he can easily collect pure energy to reach higher cultivation levels in the near future. Since her talent looks incredibly promising, Han suggests they put her new powers to the test immediately. Yu Yu tells the two of them to get started while she goes to fetch some water. While she is getting the water, she starts hearing strange, suggestive noises coming from the two of them inside. Yu Yu rushes back inside, only to find the two of them focused on refining materials into the cauldron. Once the process finishes, a spiritual energy pill is born, and Han explains it can boost his power by at least 1%. Now pay attention, because this is where things get wild, as Ling Xuan shoves Han down and says her internal fire is still burning. She grabs Han, begging for help, and while he frantically asks Yo Yue for backup, even she ends up joining in. The two girls pounce on Han, and they all end up spending a very passionate night together. The next morning, Han wakes up completely exhausted from their wild night, while the girls praise him for really trying his absolute best. Han quickly moves past the awkwardness, telling them it is finally time to get down to serious business. Ling Xuan asks what he means, so he reveals their mission to find the Queen Bug and their missing teammates. Ling Xuan asks about the missing person, and Yu Yue pulls out a photo of Bai. The moment she sees the picture, Ling Xuan recognizes her as a regular dancer at the local nightclubs. Yu Yu asks how she knows that, and she reveals they both frequent a place called the Breeze Nightclub. It is the biggest club in the city, and Han is thrilled they found such a solid lead so quickly. Han pulls out a canister and sprays them down, announcing that it is finally time to head to the club. The girls are totally disgusted by the foul smell and demand to know what he just sprayed on them. Han reveals it is hawthorn flower spray, something the bugs are extremely sensitive to. In fact, when they catch a whiff of it, they become incredibly irritable and go completely berserk. Pay attention here, because as soon as Han asks the bartender about a woman named Bai using her secret alias, the man's mood immediately shifts and he becomes incredibly serious. To their total shock, the bartender suddenly holds up a wine bottle. He announces that Han is buying drinks for the entire house, sending the crowd into a frenzy while Han stands there confused. He asks what is going on, and the bartender explains that another guest showed up the previous day. That guest ran up a massive tab and claimed a guy with Han's name would be coming to pay it. Yu Yu is baffled by this and asks Han who would possibly do something like that to him. Han tells her not to worry because he is positive it was Ye Fan, and the bartender reveals that the man left a box behind that no one has been able to open. Han takes the mysterious box and opens it easily, finding a hidden note tucked inside. In the note, Ye Fan explains that he and his brother Yiming explored a ruin and were rewarded by the Guardians organization. The entire team then went to the Breeze Ballroom to celebrate their success. A month later, Yiming was sent to the front lines for special reasons, and nobody has heard from him since. During that same month, the deputy captain named Hu took over all the duties of the captain. He ends the message, stating that killing the queen bug will wipe out every single parasite worm. Ling Xuan is totally lost and asks Han what Ye Fan is actually trying to tell them. Han explains that the queen's division began in February, and there are currently 7 parasites out in the world. Ling Xuan finally understands what is happening, and Han tells the girls to wait while he heads to the restroom, passing a strange man on his way in. Suddenly, the man has a violent reaction to the hawthorn flower scent lingering on Han's clothes. He lunges at Han in a blind rage, but Han casually knocks him back without even breaking a sweat. The man hits the floor, and a nasty parasite erupts from his body, which Han promptly squashes just before the 2 girls rush into the room. Han tells them the owner was infected, but he already took care of the parasite. So, where are the other 6 hiding? Trust me, you and I are just getting to the good part. Alright. You and I are diving into a situation where nobody can be trusted, including Ying's team. Han suggests leaving the club for fresh clues, but suddenly, an attacker lunges at him with a sharpened blade. Han effortlessly dodges before kicking the guy down. Surprise, this guy has been parasitized as well. Han crushes the parasite before it can bolt. Ua recognizes the fallen man as one of Hu's personal lackeys. Everything finally starts clicking for Han. Every single person who has been infected with these parasites is linked back to the Breeze Ballroom. From the owner Yiming to every victim, they all share one connection. Han realizes they are all tied to a single person. At that same moment, he figures out exactly where Effin is headed straight to Hu's manor. The villain is busy having fun when Effin suddenly crashes the party in a total rage. Effin screams at Hu, accusing him of murdering Yiming to steal his rank. He has been using parasites to crush talented awakened ones and spirit bonders alike. Effin is absolutely livid that after all those crimes, Hu is still walking around as a free man. Hu just mocks him, saying his woman just died. He should be hiding and mourning instead of coming here to pick a fight. Effin roars at Hu, screaming that everything is his fault. Today, he is finally here to settle the score once and for all. Hu keeps trash-talking, telling Effin to blame his woman's bad luck instead of him. He even asks if Effin is scared of reinforcements while they are busy arguing. Now pay attention, watch. Hu's goons surround the scene. He orders them to execute Effin for openly attacking a high-ranking member of the Guardians organization. Effin prepares for the swarm, but right on cue, Han strolls in. He starts one-shotting every single lackey before they can even blink. Both Hu and Effin are stunned to see Han. Effin asks why he came, but Han just wonders if Effin would even be breathing if they hadn't arrived to save his life. Effin stays silent because deep down, he knows that Han is absolutely right. Hu asks if Han is really choosing Effin's side. Han just issues a cold warning to the thugs, do not die for this man. This meeting is strictly between him and Hu, but they refuse and charge in. Since they made their choice, Han stops holding back, dismantling them one after the other with ease. Seconds later, it is over. They are all unconscious. Even Effin is shocked by how fast Han finished the job. You and I can see Han has truly mastered his martial arts. Ling Zhen shouts that Hu is trying to flee. Han immediately gives chase, his eyes filled with cold, murderous intent. Han lands a massive punch to his chest, flooring him instantly. As Hu hits the dirt, a parasite crawls from his skull. Han squashes it before it can escape, but Han is not satisfied yet. He knows that thing was not the queen parasite. The surviving lackeys lose it when they see Hu is dead. They start screaming at Han, asking him if he has gone completely insane. Seeing them pin the murder on him, Han realizes the truth. They have walked straight into a nasty trap. Flashback to an hour ago. An assistant entered the city lord's office to get a signature, only to find the queen parasite sticking out of his skull. A blood-curdling scream follows, but there is absolutely nobody around to hear her cries. Back at Hu's, Han tells his team to run and find Master Shu. He is the only one who can help them survive this crisis, but they make it clear, no matter what happens next, they are sticking by his side. Meanwhile, City Lord Kongquan issues a formal arrest warrant for Han with a wicked smile, thrilled his bait was taken so quickly. Han is about to leave his friends behind when an old man appears in the sky, riding a bizarre aircraft. The old man reveals he knows exactly what Han did. Killing a high-ranking member of the organization is no small crime. He commands Han to drop to his knees. Even though Han tries to resist with everything he has, the man's overwhelming aura slams him into the dirt. Meanwhile, Shang holds a meeting with Master Shu, though he is not actually there in person. Shang is just using one of his avatars to talk. When Master Shu demands to know his plan, Shang just smirks. He tells him his star pupil has already been captured and will be caged by tomorrow. Master Shu almost attacks the avatar in a rage until he realizes it would be a total waste of his precious time. He is forced to back down for now, but he warns Shang that he has plenty of surprises left for him. Once Shang leaves, Lin asks for the plan to rescue Han. Master Shu admits he might have given the villains a bit too much leverage. He is annoyed they think capturing Han gives them control. Little do they know, Han might actually be the ultimate trap he has set for them. Trust me, life is just chess, and you and I can agree Han has played his part perfectly so far. Stick with me, you're about to watch a hero face an absolute setup. Inside the cell, the elder asks if he's ready to confess, but Han stays silent. The man strikes him in the chest, warning him that nobody is coming to the rescue, and that includes his friend, Shuang. The elder reveals that Han only has two choices left, and the first is to join their secret group. He claims they don't care about his past. He should embrace them as the future, while Shuang is just history. The second path is to stay as he is and face the cold guillotine by tomorrow morning. Han tells the man he finally realizes the fourth stage parasite worm was found by Ying and smuggled into the city. The old man doesn't deny it, arguing that the bug isn't an enemy as long as it's being used properly. He says it can be the ultimate tool. Han finally tells the man he knows exactly which choice to make. The elder leans in to listen, but Han chooses a secret third option which absolutely pisses the old man off. The very next day, Han's execution is televised for everyone to see. Chuan is told that everything is finally in place, and as soon as the timer hits 0, the sentence will proceed as planned. Chuan asks if Han's allies were caught, but the officer says no. Those three are cunning and must be hiding somewhere deep inside the villa. Now, pay attention here. Chuan orders a search for the escapees, but he's secretly worried because Han is acting way too calm right now. Han isn't showing any sign of panic. His master told him to let this play out, so he's just waiting. He's certain that his teacher has already planned every single move. The spectators are totally stunned. They remember Han was once known as a high-level talent in the city. Just then, Chuan arrives to address the crowd. Everyone is shocked to see him showing up in person. Chuan tells everyone that Han killed many people, and even conspired to bring parasite bugs into their home. With those lies, he sways the public's opinion. Now, everyone agrees that Han deserves to die for his crimes. Chuan smiles, seeing his plan working perfectly. He gives the order for the execution officer to finally go ahead. Han watches in horror as the massive blade hangs above his neck, ready to drop at any second. Suddenly, the machine jams. The executioner is left standing there, completely confused by the sudden mechanical failure. Chuan realizes someone is sabotaging the machine. Just then, Sighting steps out from the crowd with her guards behind her, ready to stop the madness. She tells Chuan she won't allow this punishment. Han is her benefactor, and she's not letting him die. Chuan is furious, demanding to know if the family is really trying to stop a legal execution. Right then, Han's teammates pull off their hoods, telling Chuan they don't agree with his verdict either. Meanwhile, Shang tells Shuang that the game is over. Han is already standing at the edge of the guillotine, but Shuang assures him it isn't over yet. He says it's too early for conclusions, so Shang keeps watching. Now, check this out. Shuang gets a call. They still can't track the mastermind behind this entire setup. However, they've uncovered a secret organization pulling the strings, a group known as Dawnbreak. Back at the grounds, the spectators are reeling. Someone actually dared to stop the whole execution in public view. People realize things just got way more complicated now that the Shang family has stepped into the fight. Sighting yells that Chuan is a liar. She tells the people that Han isn't a criminal, but a protector who has been fighting for them this whole time. Sighting then points toward the massive screens nearby. A video plays, showing Han risking his life to defeat Zerg monsters while saving civilians. She proves he's a true patriot. There's no way a man who protects people like that would ever be a traitor. Suddenly, that creepy old man from the cell appears on the scene again. With a thunderous, terrifying voice, he commands everyone in the crowd to shut their mouths immediately. He declares that Han's death is a mission for Dawnbreak, and nobody is allowed to interfere. The man launches a massive palm strike at Han, but he's suddenly hit so hard he flies backward. The impact kills him instantly. The crowd is stunned, having no idea who just delivered that killing blow. Sighting spots Shuang leaving the area. But Chuan isn't ready to give up his prize just yet. Chuan lunges to kill him, but Han finally breaks his chains. His master has already made his move, so now it's Han's turn to take control. Han dodges with ease, and trust me, you and I are about to see him go all out. Stick with me, because Han is about to show everyone exactly why you should never mess with his home city. Like clockwork, the queen bug crawls out of his skull, but before it can vanish, Han snatches it to crush the life out of it. Everyone is stunned as Han kills the parasite from the city lord's head, holding it high to explain the bug was sent to disrupt humanity. He makes it loud and clear, every ruthless move he has made was for the sake of the human race. Finally, the people realize their leader's erratic behavior wasn't madness, it was the work of those disgusting parasitic bugs. Shutong finally appears, asking Han if he felt that thin line between life and death during the heat of battle this time. Han admits he appreciates Shutong handling the cleanup, but he tells the old man it is time he starts making moves on his own. Shutong reassures him he did great with the queen dead. The rest of the hive mind has been wiped out for good. But there is a catch. He tells Han that because he handled everything with such a heavy hand, they couldn't find a single trace of Dawnbreak. Han is confused, asking his master what this mysterious group even is. The old man explains it is a shadowy organization that has successfully infiltrated their ranks, though their ultimate goal remains a total mystery. Han is visibly shaken, realizing a hidden enemy has been living right under their noses this entire time. Now, here is where it gets heavy. Pay attention as Effen arrives with the devastating news that over 1,000 people were lost. To honor the fallen, they have organized a massive sea burial for everyone claimed by the parasitic invasion. Just as planned, Bai is among those laid to rest at sea. As her coffin floats away, Han whispers an apology for failing to protect her. In a sudden twist, Bai's lifeless body begins to glow with an eerie blue light. Her eyes snap open and a bug crawls from her mouth, but for now, her resurrection remains a terrifying secret. Later that October, Shutong asks if Han and his spirits reached Tier 3. Han confirms that even Lingzhen has now reached that milestone. In addition, Yue has unlocked several new musical pieces that Han plans to master in his upcoming training sessions. Siding smiles at Han, teasing him to make a contract with her the moment her true powers finally awaken. But Han is picky. He only contracts spirits with divine attributes since they provide the most elite support on the battlefield. Hearing this, Siding can only cross her fingers and pray she awakens with that rare divine attribute he is looking for. Let's pause for a second, because this is the exact moment where Han's journey takes a massive leap into the unknown. Han makes it clear to his master that his only goal is to keep pushing his limits and getting stronger. Seeing his resolve, Shutong decides to contact Wei to prep a plane that will ship Han straight to the brutal front lines. It is perfect timing. The first district is about to launch a massive, year-end offensive against the insect species. However, there is a catch. This is not a group trip, meaning Ling Zhen and Yue will not be coming along. Shutong has better training plans for the girls, and Han agrees to follow his master's orders without any hesitation. Meanwhile, out on the bloody front lines, a squad led by a captain named Xiao Ya is in total chaos. They are suffering massive losses and arguing in the dirt when Han finally arrives in a heavy military chopper. Han hops out and introduces himself to Xiao Ya as the newest soldier assigned to their battered team. Xiao Ya is stunned to see Han standing there all alone, without a single contract spirit in sight. Furious, Xiao Ya barks at Han, asking if he has a death wish or if he just wants to die fast. His colleague, Jiang, tells the captain to cool it, insisting that Han doesn't look like some soft rookie. He points out Han's high-end gear, which clearly shows he is a fresh arrival from the inner city. This only makes Xiao Ya angrier. He hates the idea of nobles causing trouble and thinks they are being treated like a landfill. After a brief standoff over who takes the rookie, Xiao Ya finally tells Han to fall in and meet the squad. As they walk, Xiao Ya reveals he is a Tier 4 awakened, clearly letting Han know who is boss here. They reach the base where Han is introduced to Shifeng and Xiaoan, the final members of this rugged team. Xiaoan starts flirting immediately, asking Han to help her with her coat before she finally stops messing with him. She suggests to Xiao Ya that Han might actually have his spirit hidden in its materialized form. Han formally greets the group and casually mentions he brought a little welcome gift for his new teammates. He pulls high-tier, level 6 armor out of thin air, leaving the entire squad staring in absolute disbelief. Shifeng and Xiaoan celebrate like kids, but Xiao Ya plays it cool, wondering which powerful family this mysterious kid actually represents. And that is where we leave it, trust me. You and I are about to see Han tear up the battlefield. Let's dive into this wild mission where Han finds out the captain is a legit mech operator. The team confirms his spirit specializes in mechanized combat, allowing him to pilot massive mechs for deadly long-range strikes. But there is a catch. He absolutely despises high-ranking officials who abuse their power. They realize a second too late that Han might actually be a noble, leaving the lady stuttering out apologies. Just then, Zia arrives with the word everyone was waiting for. It is mission time. On the way, Han asks about the objective, only to learn this is a full-scale extermination job. The targets are the Izanami Serpent Clan, monsters that reproduce so fast they can flood any battlefield with reinforcements. This insane breeding speed has kept the front lines locked in a brutal, bloody stalemate for ages. That is, until Wei showed up a month ago and smashed the status quo. Wei charged in solo, shattering ancient barriers with his bare fists and cutting their supply lines to absolute ribbons. He turned the tide instantly, but then the heavy hitters arrived. 4 Tier 8 Serpent Emperors appeared on the scene to take him down in a bloody battle. The Emperors eventually dragged their battle far away elsewhere. Now, the 2nd District has ordered this squad to find and destroy every single serpent nest in the entire vicinity. As they approach, Xiao Ya suits up in his armor, but they suddenly hit a massive serpent molt that leaves them shaking. Xiao Ya explains that these serpents shed their entire skin every single time they rank up in power. Stick with me here, because Han realizes the real danger. The snakes hid their eggs inside that giant molt. Right on cue, the eggs begin raining down from the massive, hollow molt. Xiaoya sees it on his screen. The molt is 6,000 meters long, covered in billions of eggs that suddenly hatch with a massive shockwave that rattles everyone to the core. A massive shockwave from the hatching process sends Xiaoya flying while the others scream in agony. Without a second thought, Han leaps off the ledge to catch his falling comrade. Xiaoya screams for Han to ignore him and focus on the mission. But Han is clearly not about that life as he grabs the heavy mech suit. He grabs the heavy mech suit midair and tosses Xiaoya back up to the safety of the cliff. Xiaoya is stunned by Han's raw strength, while the rest of the team tells the captain that Han is likely dead from that massive fall. Just as Xiaoya starts blaming himself, a single hand suddenly grips the edge of the rocky ledge. Han yells for them to pull him up already, because he is definitely not ready to die yet. They haul him up, celebrating his survival, though Xiaoya immediately berates him for taking such a reckless risk just to save his own skin over the mission. He reminds Han that their primary mission must come first, period. You and I both saw this coming. But look, the entire area is now crawling with thousands of newly hatched snakes. Xiaoya warns everyone to stay sharp, but the others are already convinced that they are totally finished. The snakes hiss and coil, terrifying the crew. The lady realizes there are just way too many to escape. Suddenly, Han raises his hand, and a brilliant golden shield erupts from his ring. The shield's aura hits the swarm like a physical force, making the snakes actually bow down in submission. Han yells for the captain to open fire while they are stunned, and the man does not hesitate. He unleashes massive firepower that roasts the entire swarm, then turns to ask Han what just happened. Han plays it cool, saying he just used some gear to intimidate them. The team thinks he is incredible, and Xiaoya asks who he really is because he is no normal noble. Han just shrugs it off, claiming he is a basic Tier 3 awakened with 0 special skills. Suddenly, a distress signal pings on Xiaoya's screen, and the news is not looking good. The news is bad. Other teams are failing, and Xiaoya admits their squad would have been totally wiped out if not for Han's massive help. With Han's power over the snakes, they might actually stand a chance. Xiaoya plans to cut off their escape routes and wipe out the entire nest for good. Suddenly, Han's entire expression shifts, and he screams for the team to run immediately or they are all about to be wiped out. A terrifying rank 5 nest guardian has emerged, and this giant serpent is absolutely furious at their little intrusion. While the trio stands there paralyzed in shock, Han is already hightailing it out of there. He looks back and screams at them to move their feet before the monster closes the gap. Trust me, you and I are going to want to see how they escape this monster next time. Stick with me, because we are about to see a rescue mission turn into a nightmare. Xiaoya fires a blast to cover them, but the serpent just snaps him up in its jaws. The snake just spits him out like trash, and the sight of their captain being crushed finally gets the attention of the other two. They are completely paralyzed by the sheer power of the beast, giving the massive snake all the time it needs to close in. It lunges to swallow them whole, but out of nowhere, a glowing shield flickers to life and blocks the deadly strike. They were ready to meet their end, but then they realize the armor Han gave them is what actually saved their lives. But do not celebrate yet. The snake spits a wave of acid that melts through the shield, instantly turning them both into black dust. Han watches in absolute horror as his teammates are brutally crushed. Now that the snake has turned its focus on him, Han braces himself to fight with everything he has left. The beast lunges forward, but Han is fast, leaping backward at the very last second to avoid those massive fangs. Now watch this part closely. The snake is not giving up and goes for the kill, but just as Han is about to be eaten, a giant sword drops from the sky and shatters the serpent's head. Han just watches in horror, wondering who could possibly one-shot a 5th-tier serpent, like it was just some common pest. A beautiful woman descends from the clouds, and realizing she is the one who saved him, Han bows low in respect. The woman, Gongyang Jin, immediately compliments Han on his beauty, but lets him know she is not from Great Shia. Jin says she hails from the city of extreme evil. Among the spirit contract masters, that place is better known by its more infamous name, the Land of Exile. Han is confused for a second when he hears that name, but after thinking about it, he realizes she is talking about the notorious Lower District. He cannot believe it. This woman is a triple S ranked talent and an 8th-tier awakened powerhouse. Suddenly, she appears behind Han asking for the name of the song he played, because she could feel every cell in her body amplified, giving her the strength to finish that snake in one single blow. Jin tells Han she is taking him back to the Lower District to be her personal combat support. Hearing that, Han immediately jumps back, urging Jin to chill out. But Jin is pissed that a mere Tier 3 awakened is resisting. Han tells her that he cannot leave yet because his mission is not complete. Jin asks him what would happen if she forcefully takes him away, and he holds a sharp knife to his own neck, telling Jin that he would just end his own life instead. Seeing how stubborn the kid is, you and I can see exactly what he is doing here. Han realizes Jin is fond of him, so he decides to take advantage of the situation so the woman can help him finish his mission. Han then tells her that he will go with her, but only on one condition. She has to help him wipe out the entire Izanami swarm on the battlefield. Jin agrees instantly, already expecting Han to make some kind of ridiculous request like that. Han points out the targets on the map, and she assures him that clearing them out is no problem at all. But suddenly, a dark energy erupts from her back, and she starts acting extremely strange. Jin screams at Han to run because she is about to lose control. Han senses the demonic aura, and instead of running, he attacks it with a purifying energy that dispels the darkness. When Jin finally comes back to her senses, she asks if he saved her, and he just plays it off as a small effort. Han asks her about the wound on her back, and she confesses she was injured by a Tier 9 insect emperor. She barely escaped with her life, but that beast left her with hidden damage. Apparently, the corruption it left behind can force her into a mindless killing state at any moment. Han realizes how terrifying a Tier 9 insect really is, then asks if he can examine her injury. After teasing him for trying to take advantage of her, she eventually gives in and lets him look. Han takes a closer look and he lets Jin know that the wound is deep, but actually treatable. Then he does what he does best by engaging his healing scale. A soothing sensation washes over Jin as he works. He tells her the aura is suspended, but not fully gone. Han then suggests they try using the cauldron. Jin is shocked he has 2 spirit contracts. Han burns energy in the cauldron and directs it toward her injury. Just like before, the intense sensation makes Jin nearly pass out. When he is finished, he says it is halfway done, and Jin begs him to keep going because it feels amazing. Han explains he used up all his innate ability by absorbing energy from countless insect corpses. Stick with me, because to finish the job, Han is going to need a massive amount of fresh insect flesh and blood. Let's dive back in as Han sets out to eradicate the Izanami serpent clan. Jin grabs him and rockets toward the target site to finish this fast. Meanwhile, back at the station, Lin and the officials are watching everything unfold through high-tech drones. They are terrified that things have spiraled out of control. Those unhatched snake eggs? Yeah, that is a massive problem they did not see coming. Lin suddenly realizes the Zerg are intentionally baiting them into sending their best fighters into a deadly trap. He immediately barks out orders to halt all reinforcements. Nobody else is allowed to go to the front line. Cut back to the battlefield where Han and Jin finally reach the target zone. Jin is ready to unleash hell, but you and I need to watch this. Han stops her now. She asks if he is serious, and Han just laughs, leaping straight into the swarm. He is completely fearless, and Jin is actually impressed by how insane he is. Han slams into the snakes and starts crushing them without a shred of mercy. The drone catches the action, and those back at the station are horrified to see Han alone. They are already counting him as dead. Just as the serpents close in for the kill, Jin comes through, obliterating them with a single massive shot. Jin keeps tearing through the snake horde while Han covers her back with perfect precision. With Jin holding down the fort, Han is finally able to tap into his level 3 potential. Wait for it. This is the moment Han reveals his new power, using these beasts as his personal test subjects. The sheer strength he displays leaves even the legendary Jin speechless. Back at the station, the officials finally spot Jin on the screen, and their jaws hit the floor. It turns out she fought Wei and his wife a month ago, and they barely survived the encounter. They thought she was long gone, but seeing her here proves how wrong they were. Even worse, she is working directly with Han now. It does not take long for Han and Jin to finish clearing out every last snake. Han tells her he can restart the vitality creation by absorbing the energy from the fallen bodies. He restarts the treatment, leaving Jin overwhelmed by a wild mix of intense pain and strange pleasure. Han spots a jagged black thorn buried in her wound and asks if he should pull it. Jin does not hesitate. She tells him to rip it out, and he does. And that is where we leave it. Watch that demonic energy explode.